Hello, hello! Welcome back to the Colombian Linguist Learn Spanish with a Caribbean Voice channel. Today we are going to start our first module, which is Module 1 Beginners. Remember that we are going to be focusing on levels A1 to A2 according to the Common European Framework of References for Languages. So these two levels are the ones we are going to be working on this first module. So to start, day 1 is about the alphabet in Spanish, el alfabeto en español. And the main objective for this, like to learn this, the ABC or the alphabet or el alfabeto, es responder tres preguntas claves. So we're going to learn the ABC in order to answer three main questions or three key questions, the ones that we can see on the top of the ABC. But before we talk about those questions, let's go over the ABC in español. So let's start. I'm gonna say every single letter from the alphabet in Spanish twice. So let's start with the first one. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, Ñ, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, B pequeña, W, X, Y, Z. Voy a repetirlo for the second time. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, Ñ, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, B pequeña, W, X, Y, Z. Some of the letters are kind of complicated to remember and they have different ways to be pronounced according to the Hispanic, according to the country where you are, according to the country and according to the person you're talking to. See, so bilingual speakers are going to recognize two words or two letters when you pronounce B and V. Bilinguals, that means they know how to speak another language other than Spanish, right? So, and they know the difference between B and V in English. So they know, let's say that these bilingual speakers know Spanish and English. So they know the differences between these two letters, the little B and the little V. You're gonna see and you're gonna hear and perceive a difference between those two. But when you learn these two letters in Spanish with somebody who doesn't speak another language other than Spanish, they are gonna say B for both of them. So B, B. In the other slides, I'm gonna show you different ways to name B and B pequeña. That's one of the alternative. So yeah. So the other alternative, we're gonna see them in the other slides. But right now we have another letter which is kind of difficult sometimes to memorize, and that's H, right? So the H, sometimes we think that it has the same sound as in English. So, like in the word hospital, right? But in Spanish, you don't pronounce the H is silent. So you would say hospital instead of saying hospital. Perfect. So now let's go over these. The alternatives for the little b. So we have B, B larga, B grande, B de burro. So B de burro, this is a burro, that's donkey, right? So burro. Then we have V, and for the V we have, let me see, the alternative we have here are V, V corta, V chica, V de vaca. And just in case you are wondering what V de vaca, what vaca means is a cow, right? Previously, I said B pequeña, and that's another alternative. When you are referring to V, you can say V pequeña, which is small v. Then we have the little w, V W, 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 V W. And one of the examples that we have with W, with W or W, or any of the other alternatives, is whiskey, right? Whiskey. Then we have the little Y or J. I personally say Y. I love saying Y. But that's the letter, and those are the alternatives for that letter, for the letter Y. And then we have yogurt. And talking about all the words that we can learn next to the alfabeto in Spanish, we have here some words, right? So these words is important to try to match, and it is not important, or it is not as important, but is interesting and is useful to learn the ABC, aprender el vocabulario con el ABC. So learn vocabulary with the ABC, because then you are referring to the ABC with a word. For example, if you have the word ángel, right? You're gonna say like, oh, a de ángel. So you are putting to this, you are putting a word to that letter, that vowel in this case, a la vocal A. A, ángel. B, barco. C, conejo. Ch, chile. D, dado. E, elefante. F, foco. G, guitarra. H, hamburguesa. No, hamburguesa. Remember, the H is silent. So, hamburguesa. I, isla. J, jirafa. K, kiosco. L, lentes. Doble L, lluvia. M, mariposa. N, nieve. Ñ, ñandú. O, ojo. P, perro. Q, queso. R, ratón. S, sol. T, tortuga. U, uvas. B pequeña, vaca. W, Wilfrido. X, xilófono. Y, yo. Z, zanahoria. Now, in this slide, we are seeing some letters that we didn't see in the previous ABC, right? In the previous slides where we had all the ABC. So, what are those letters that are new? Tenemos la che, we have the che, Chile, che, CH, Chile. We have double L, ¿sí? Lluvia, the rain. And we also have, we had ñ in the other one, right? So, ñandú. So, those are the only letters that we didn't have, the che and the double L. And basically, some alphabets are going to include them, some alphabets will not include them, but they do exist in Spanish. So it's important to recognize them. Sometimes people would say like LL, but most of the time it's double L, what people are going to tell you when they are spelling their names, like how do you spell their name, cómo deletreas tu nombre, o cómo se escribe tu nombre, they are gonna say double L instead of LL, and then che or CH. But yeah, so now that we know all these alfabeto en español and that we have learned new words, right? We have a lot of words here that are well, that's one strategy that I want to teach you, and is basically connecting one letter with a word. And that is gonna expand your vocabulary, and also you're gonna be able to remember like, oh, a ángel. Or if you have any, nieve, right? And an important part here about nieve, here we have an ice cream, because in some Spanish varieties, like in the one spoken in Mexico, or some people would refer to the ice cream as nieve in Mexico, right? In some other countries, this ice cream would be helado with an H. So just keep that in mind. We're going to learn about all this vocabulary and all variation in our Sundays, in our videos that are going to be posted on Sundays. So don't forget to watch those videos as well. But as for now, well, we already have the ABC. We have practiced it twice, maybe 3 times already. So, vamos a deletrear. Let's spell out our names and other people's last names, right? So, let's try to do that. And I have an activity which is about deletrear, to spell out. So, deletreemos los siguientes apellidos. This is an activity that is found in this book that I have here, El Español en Marcha. So that textbook has been used, or I used it for this activity, right? So, Nuevo Español en Marcha, A1. Here we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 apellidos, right? Now, let's spell them out, ¿sí? Comencemos con el primero, ¿sí? Vamos a deletrearlo. Les doy 1 minuto para que lo deletreen y luego yo lo deletreo. Voy a usar mi temporizador y lo van a hacer. So, I'm gonna use my timer to give you a minute so you can spell these. You can spell the first last name that you have there, Romero, and then I'll do it, and you can compare your answers, right? So, a minute. All right, so For the first one is R-O-M-E-R-O. Now I'm gonna give you 4 minutes. 4 minutes for you to do the other ones. Let's time it. I'm gonna use one more time my timer, and after 4 minutes, we check your answers by me spelling them out for you. Okay, so let's do it. 4 minutes. Okay, so I assume you're gonna pause the video, right, for 4 minutes, and you're gonna click one more time, play, and continue with the activity. So what I'm gonna do right now is to spell every single last name, cada apellido, so you can check what you have done, right? But don't forget to pause the video for 4 minutes and try to do it on your own before checking the answers. So for the second one, días, we have D, I, A, Z. D, I, A, Z. An accent mark in the I. The third one, we have Gonzalo. G, O, N, Z, A, L, V, O. G, O, N, Z, A, L, B, O. The next last name, el siguiente apellido, Rivera. R, I, B, E, R, A. Rivera. R, I, B, E, R, A. Now we have the next last name, right? So, el siguiente es Jiménez. G, I, M, E, N, E, Z. Tilde, accent mark in the first E. Okay, a second time for this one. So, G, I, M, E, N, E, Z. An accent mark in the first E. Una tilde en la E. And then we have our last name, and that is Padín. So, P, A, D, I, N. P, A, D, I, N. And an accent mark in the E. Great. So now we're gonna move on. Those are the 6 last names we have spelled out. We have them already spelled out. Now we're gonna work on our last names. What are our last names? ¿Cómo es tu apellido? ¿Cuál es tu apellido? What's your last name? ¿Cómo es tu apellido? Mi apellido es Catán. How do I pronounce Catán? C-A-K-T-T-A-N, tan. Now, how do you spell that out? ¿Cómo lo deletreas? ¿Sí? ¿Puedes, por favor, deletrear tu apellido? Can you spell your last name, please? Of course. Claro que sí. C-A-T-T-A-N. C-A-T-T-A-N. It would be good if you write it down. It's another activity you can do. Now, what about you? What's your last name? ¿Cómo es tu apellido? ¿Cuál es tu apellido? ¿Puedes, por favor, deletrearlo? Do it. I invite you to do all the activities so you can learn while you're watching this video. Okay? Now, from the same book, the same textbook, I got these pictures you have in this part of the video. So on the top, we have vocales, the vowels. So let's pronounce them again. And we have capital letters and lowercase letters. So letra en mayúscula y letra en minúscula. A, E, I, O, U. Something nice about these pictures that you have in this part is that you have the mayúscula, the capital letters, and you also have the lowercase letters. You have the name of each of the letters from the alphabet. You have the sounds and some examples. So if you want, you can write this down or take a screenshot and have it with you all the time so you can remember the ABC and never forget it again, right? And we have the examples one more time. If you want, you can learn every letter next to a word, and then you can refer that, and you can also have that word in your vocabulary list in your minds. And also you can take notes. You can be watching this video with a notebook and try to write everything down. And if you don't know what the translation is, you can also look for the meaning of the words, right? That's great. Another strategy that you can use in order to expand your vocabulary. Now, there are some sounds that are very interesting when we put together letters and vowels. Here we have some. We are gonna go over these examples on our day 2 in a deep way. Today, I just wanted to show you what are those letters and, well, consonants and vowels, las consonantes y las vocales, and how you pronounce them, but very quickly. We're gonna see more about this on our day 2 from this module. So, C-A-K, C-O-K, C-U-Q, right? So here, K-K-Q. K is Q-U-E, K. Q-U-I, ki, right? So, K, casa, que, queso, ki, quiero, co, color, Q, cuatro. G-A, ga, G-O, go, G-U, gu, but, G-U-E, G-U-I, ge, gi. Ga, gato, ge, guerra, gi, guitarra, go, agosto, gu, agua. Z-A, sa, C-E, C, C-I, si, se-o, so, se-u, su. Se-a, sa, zapato, se, cerrado, si, cine, so, zoológico, y su, azul. Now we go to J-A. So here we have J-A, J-E, J-A, ha, J-E, he, he, he. Some examples. J-I, he, he. J-O, ho, J-U, hu. Ha, jamón, he, jefe, or you can also say genio. And there we have different type of like different spelling. And then we have he, gitana, gitano, jirafa, jota, Julio, right? Now that we're talking about spelling, let's evaluate what we have learned, right? So, here we have this spelling bee, deletrea. This is the last activity, and of course, I'm gonna go over every single word, and you have to pause the video for a minute so you can spell the word. And after you pause the video, you're gonna replay the video or play again the video where you left it, right? To check how you spell the word. I'm gonna give you some time for you to do it, and the way that we're gonna do that is pausing the video, and then when you play the video, you're gonna listen to my spelling of the word that I'm gonna show you. Also, I'm gonna tell you the meaning of the words. So let's learn more words today, right? So, deletrea, spell that out. Spelling bee. Here we have alemán, which means, what do you think that means? We have a picture, right? So, German. Let's pause the video for a minute and then play one more time the video to check the answer. Okay, so the answer is A, L, E, M, A, N. Tilde, accent mark in the A. A, L, E, M, A, N. Accent in the last A. The next picture and the next word is triste. Can you guess what this is? Yeah, sad. So let's pause the video again for a minute and then we come back and check the answers. The answer is T, R, I, S, T, E. T, R, I, S, T, E. Now, let's go to our next word. What do you think this is? Japonesa. Yeah. Excelente. Japanese, right? So, one more time, pause the video, do it on your own, and then replay the video. J, A, P, O, N, E, S, A. J, A, P, O, N, E, S, A. Let's go to our next slide, our next word, which is cantante, singer, cantante, singer. So, one more time, pause the video, and when you are done spelling this word, play one more time the video to check your answers. C-A-N-T-A-N-T-E. C-A-N-T-A-N-T-E. Cantante. Now let's go to our next word. Feliz. Happy. So take your time and come back when you are ready. Yeah, so the answer is F-E-L-I-Z. F-E-L-I-Z. Feliz. Now, our last word is político. One more time, pause the video and come back when you're ready. All right, so this one is P-O-L-I-T-I-C-O. P-O-L-I-T-I-C-O. Político. And it has an accent mark in the first E. Great. So this is the end of our day 1, the alphabet in Spanish, el día 1, el alfabeto en español. And please don't forget to click subscribe, like, leave me a comment. What did you like about this video? What do you think I should be doing better? And don't forget to share with your friends, family members, and other people that you think that might be interested in learning Spanish. So thank you for being here with the Colombian Linguist, a place where you learn Spanish with a Colombian Caribbean voice. Ciao, ciao!